Does my hair look okay?
There's like
Help me.
a little bit of like
Here?
a lump. No, it's like
Is that better?
yes.
No. Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
The lump I was talking about is not there anymore.
Okay. But what else is wrong?
Okay, yeah, that looks
Okay,
better.
okay,
Now
okay.
it's like smooth.
See, I can tell, bitch. You're like... Hello.
And welcome back to another episode of
Manic Pixie Dream Women.
We are your hosts, Layla and Mariah.
You switched it up today.
Oh, and this is a podcast where we talk about all things post-grad, entering into the industry, and our favorite films that have inspired us along the way.
And the friends we've made along the way.
Yeah, or the new films that continue to
Exactly.
inspire us.
Literally, though.
I guess I gotta switch up this intro this season.
Yeah, because we have not seen these movies.
Yes. Today, we are talking about the 1974 movie Black Christmas.
Written and directed by Bob Clark.
I feel like we're like, have you seen like the SNL skit, like Sweaty Balls?
Oh, I do feel like we're in that cadence right now.
Yeah, we're really giving that energy.
Like, oh, yes, totally.
Yes. The
Very,
1974 movie.
Calm,
Black.
cool, and collected. It's giving NPR today.
Yeah, it's giving NPR, starring Olivia Hussey.
Yes.
And
Keir Dullea.
Is that the guy from 2001?
How to say his name.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
And that other woman.
Margot Kidder.
Yes.
This was basically like me and Mariah's 1968 Avengers.
Ooh, yeah.
Because 2001 and Romeo and Juliet were both released in 1968.
Right, that's
and
so funny.
This, like, the two, I mean, I don't know if I was, like, obsessed with Olivia Hussey and Leonard Whiting. So, like, but I was gonna say, it's like, you know, when they go past, when your other Barbies kiss your other Barbies.
Yeah, and it's also just, I think, weird. I don't know if you've had, like, I'm sure you've seen other Olivia Hussey movies.
There's not many.
Okay, but have you seen them?
I think this is the only other one I've seen.
Okay, because I was gonna say, even for me, it was weird to see her not in Romeo and Juliet and see her, like, a little bit older.
Yeah, I think, truly, I mean, she did not have, like, she has a very short, like, IMDb page.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, which was, she chose for herself.
Yeah.
Which is empowering. It did stem from her fears.
Well, you know what's funny? As I was looking into this, I guess we're jumping right in.
Yeah.
Because I was, like, you know, doing my Google on this movie, and it was saying, like, I think it was Margot. No, maybe the girl who played Claire, the first girl who died. Spoiler alert. And they were like, oh yeah, she was kind of odd. Like, she had this psychic who, like, she took the role because, like, a psychic told her she'd make a lot of money doing this film in Canada, and, like, this was shot in Canada and mostly a Canadian release. And also the psychic told her that, like, she'd fall in love with Paul McCartney.
Oh.
So they're like, she was kind of weird.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I love they're just like saying
I kind of love that. Did you also hear the story? This is just a little tidbit. It doesn't really connect to what you were saying.
Okay.
But it does connect to her career. Apparently she met with the producers of the movie Roxanne, starring Steve Martin. Did you see this?
I've not seen the movie Roxanne.
So I did when I was younger. It's a good movie. I don't think she was not cast in it, but she met with the producers and Steve Martin said to her, "You're in my favorite movie." And she thought he was talking about Romeo and Juliet, but he was talking about Black Christmas. And he had told her he had seen it 26 times.
Okay, Steve Martin, Black Christmas stan. Okay, wait, I do have to say, for those of you who have not seen it, because even my mom hadn't heard of this movie, it definitely is a kind of, it's now reached, like, cult classic levels, where it's kind of had a resurgence. There was a remake of it in, like, 2018 that flopped, which really paid homage to the original. But basically it follows, so Olivia Hussey plays Jess, who's a member of the sorority house, and there's a killer who we learn nothing about except that his name is Billy.
Yes.
We never see his face, and he basically, hides out in the attic of the sorority house and starts killing off the girls like one by one. And Jess is like the final girl. And really, this movie invented the call is coming from inside the house.
I know. I was gonna talk about that because once he said it, I was like, is this where this phrase comes
Dude,
from?
I mean, I don't know like for sure if it's like, but definitely the modern day trope like totally originated here.
Yeah, well, actually, the original trope
What?
itself did not come from this movie.
Oh my God, where did it come from?
It came from this urban legend that the writer based it off of.
Oh, yeah. I meant like in movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But I just thought that was interesting too.
Yeah.
Called The Babysitter and The Man Upstairs.
I think it also was inspired from some real life murders.
Yeah, from some real life murders. But the whole thing of like the call coming from inside the house was from this urban legend. But like I was just like, oh my God, this is so funny that like I feel like in modern day we use that so much. Like the call is coming from inside the house.
Yeah, I think it's funny how it's shifted its meaning.
Yeah.
But this movie also inspired Halloween.
I know.
It's so interesting.
I'm so surprised this movie is not bigger.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like if you're like maybe more into film, like you've like obviously like I only heard of it because I knew Olivia Hussey's filmography.
Yeah.
Like that's how I heard of it.
Yeah.
So like I'm guessing if you're in film you hear of it more, and like if you've more of a passion especially for like early horror. I mean, I've never seen the original Halloween. But it is so crazy. I mean, I know the whole story though. And it is crazy how much I was like, girl.
No, I much prefer this movie to Halloween. I've seen the original Halloween, and it's very just like...
It stole so much from it, though.
It stole so much from it, and it's really boring. Like,
yeah.
I think the only appeal to Halloween is the fact that it was so popular.
And that killer song.
Yeah, but like... And I feel like the killer POV... But that was not originated from Halloween. So then why are we giving Halloween so much attention?
Yeah, I don't know why Halloween did so. Maybe John Carpenter was like a bigger name. I have no clue.
Yeah.
But like maybe it was just like it got a better release or something. I said this like I liked how like I miss this era though, like when things I miss as if I lived it. But like when it's like things had an impact.
Yeah.
It's like I love that it's like this inspired Halloween, because like I feel like you don't hear that many things nowadays of like, oh, this movie inspired this other current movie.
Yeah, that's really true. Because people nowadays would be like, that's stealing. When in reality, everything's inspired by everything.
Yeah. And I also just wish like when things like were all happening for the first time, like obviously this was like the first time we saw like this sort of trend of like these types of horror movies that like weren't really around.
Yeah.
Where it's like I feel like we very much have steered away from that because of the way Hollywood no longer invests in originality.
Yeah.
That like we've just lost that ability to like have a cultural like something new, something like whoa.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I wonder if in like 20, 30 years though we'll look back to this time and like what will actually be like that was the first of its kind.
I was thinking about that. Like what is going to be the big cultural standouts? Like what will the next generation who wasn't around when these movies are being released, what are they gonna find?
Yeah, but
and latch onto?
It's harder obviously because cinema was so new when they were making these movies. Like, and technology was just becoming
constantly changing.
It was so different. But I feel like I don't know, it's just crazy.
Well, I think too, like if you compare this to modern day horror, I mean, first of all, I love anything set in the 70s. I love the holdovers. I love like the aesthetics of the 70s and like, just that style. But like the horror was so like purely achieved through the story and through filmmaking techniques, and like, okay, we see there's someone behind her and like that's naturally, oh my God, where's he gonna come from?
Yeah.
Versus nowadays I feel like they rely so much more on not just gore, but like visual scares. Like if somebody like a demon looks really scary.
Yeah.
Like the nun, how she's kind of freaky looking. And then also that heavy like needle drop that like tells you how to feel, like how much it's geared by you're guided by music and like the score.
Yeah.
When I feel like this is very much like, you know, it's quiet, and I feel like that's scarier.
Yeah, I love it. I love because there's not, aside from like Christmas songs, there's not an actual score. It's just like this one weird sound.
There is a score, but it's like it's not really in it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that prevalent.
Anywho. No, I completely agree with you. I feel like because technology isn't what it is now, and again, I feel like we talk about this a lot.
Yeah.
Because they can't rely on CGI and things like that.
Yeah.
They're forced to be more creative in their tactics to like scare the audience or like to work with the genre, and I feel like it's more successful than things now.
And I also was just like, it's fun to watch and be like, so how did they rig this camera for this POV shot of like the killer? Like they don't have a GoPro. Versus now it's like there's no, it's like, how did they do it? You know, everyone kind of also like, I feel like there were so many different ways to figure out solutions to problems.
Yeah.
That it's like, oh, that's kind of almost inspiring, where it's like you can navigate it a different way versus like, oh, well, let's just use a GoPro. Makes it more exciting.
It does. For instance, did you see that Claire, the actress who played Claire? So they actually, like, it's not like it was a dummy or whatever.
It's her.
It's actually her, and she put tiny little holes in the plastic in her nose and in her mouth so she'd still be able to breathe. But she was a swimmer, so she used like the swimming tactics to be able to not suffocate.
I did,
which is so crazy.
I didn't know the stuff about the holes, but I did read that like she was like, yeah, I just held my breath for a long time, and also I learned I don't need to blink for a long time, like 'cause she just like kept her eyes open.
I was really impressed by that watching it. I just think like nowadays they wouldn't do that because they'd be like, it's not safe.
Yeah,
but where's the art?
Which I do feel, you know what's funny? I do feel like that's what gets like a lot of older celebrities and actors what am I trying to say? Like, don't articulate themselves correctly when they're talking about, even when they're like, they're talking about how like when they say like they don't like intimacy coordinators. And I feel like what they're actually just trying to say is like, it's a different, like it's missing that passion or something. Like it's almost like there's an improvisation also. Where it's like when everything is so rigid and like besides the general like consent and general safety, but it's like I feel like that's what they're talking about, where it's like filmmaking is a couple of people figuring it out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. It's so interesting. Because both this and Halloween were like super low budget.
Yeah.
The actors like use their
$3
own
million in like our
wardrobes.
today's money, I'm pretty sure.
Good for them.
That's really low.
Yeah, that's crazy. How did they attach Olivia Hussey and what's his
him?
name?
I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, I guess they just weren't. Maybe they just treated stars a certain way, and where they're just like they weren't huge names at that point.
Yeah,
I don't know, because she was coming off of like a Golden Globe nomination too.
Yeah, so crazy.
I don't know, girl. She should have. Hopefully, she negotiated maybe maybe not the royalties. I don't know. But I did want to talk about Olivia Hussey because, first of all, her hair is so gorgeous.
Her hair is always so gorgeous,
shiny and like thick. But her accent is so singular. So she's like Argentinian. Like has an Argentinian father, but was like raised in England. And I don't know, maybe it's just like how English people talked in the 60s.
Yeah.
Where like she has such a, I mean, she sounds like a goddamn princess. Like she does not sound, and then everyone else has like a normal American accent, and she's like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's really funny.
And I'm like, girl, this accent is too much. Why did they not make you like do an American accent?
I was thinking that too. I was like, literally just why? That's it.
I don't know, because it is like jarring, because it's not like a typical English accent.
It's definitely weird. I had the same thought where I was like, is this just what British people sounded like in the 70s?
It's so out of place.
I have no idea.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe, a certain region, but it definitely has like a certain lilt to it that's like so musical. I don't know. It's just, it really took me out.
I also couldn't tell if it was because I just associate with her with Romeo and Juliet, and it's like that sort of like lyrical Shakespearean.
I was like, and I'm like, I love her voice so much in Romeo and Juliet, and her accent is so perfect.
Yeah.
Ugh. So I literally was like, get this girl some more Shakespeare.
But she slayed.
Yeah.
Like that one scene where she's like she's about to run out of the house because the detective told her
and
to.
She's screaming.
And then she's screaming like, slay, house down boots.
Yeah.
Queen. Slay.
Yes.
I literally wrote that on my notes app. And I only hand that out to the best of the best. So it means a lot.
Also, I love Peter, her boyfriend, played by the 2001 guy.
Yeah.
Him and that fuck-ass Bob. They gave him a fuck-ass Bob for that.
They gave him a
he
fuck-ass
looked crazy.
Bob. He looked crazy, which works.
It does
I don't know
work.
if that was intentional, but it does make him look insane. Which, can we just talk about this movie as a feminist piece?
Yes.
I was actually, this is crazy.
Shooketh?
I was like convinced. I like looked it up, but I was convinced halfway through the movie. I was like, this must have been written by a woman. Which I was like, in the 70s, that's crazy. No way. And it was not written by a woman.
It was not.
But it says a lot that I was very convinced that it was written by a woman.
I think it's also, my mom was saying, because I don't remember the exact year Roe originally
It was
passed.
the year before.
It was the year before. Okay.
Yeah.
She told me that this morning, but I didn't double check. And so it's very topical, obviously.
Yeah.
But the abortion debate.
Yeah.
But the way it's like the same, we're at the same place today with abortion and like that.
Sad.
Yeah.
I know. I did think that. I was like, this is crazy that this was made a year after Roe v. Wade and now it's no more. That's great.
But that's why though, like, so the killer is not, you never see his face, you never know anything about him. There's like, I Googled and like you can like, there's like the screenwriter like mentioned like, oh, it's this guy named Billy and Agnes is his little sister. Like there's a conceived backstory. But I thought it's so much more interesting if this has kind of like a Gone Girl angle where it's like at the end, spoiler, Olivia Hussey's character who's dating this guy named Peter, 2001 guy, she kills him because like everyone thinks he's the killer.
Yeah.
He's always like, he's being shady. And also when she told him she wanted to get an abortion, he was like, you'll pay for this.
Yeah.
Like he was very not happy.
Yeah.
And was like, no, you won't. So there's already that going into it. And then she kills him. And I'm like, wouldn't it be kind of so slay though if they had decided to be like, she knew he wasn't the killer, but she was like, I thought he was the killer.
Yeah.
That's
very smart.
I just think that would have been like so.
Yeah. It's
slay.
definitely very on the nose. Well, the interesting part about it is, okay. So if you haven't seen the movie, as Layla just said, so Olivia Hussey's character tells her boyfriend she's pregnant. He's very upset. He's like, we must keep the baby. And she's like, it's not your choice. I've made the decision, whatever.
Yeah.
Which is very slay.
She's like, I wasn't even going to tell you, King.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But basically, the director and Olivia Hussey later came out and they were like, this was a politically neutral choice. Like, we did not intend to say anything pro-life or pro-choice regarding this plot point. It was just, I think the director said, like, literally just to have filler for the characters to talk about. Which is insane to me. Because if Roe v. Wade...
How do you slay so hard by doing nothing?
Yeah, was decided a year before.
There's no fucking way.
That, I mean, to be fair, though, I don't know what the Canadian... Because this is a Canadian movie. I don't know what the Canadian laws around abortion were, but I feel like that's still a pretty big milestone.
But also, like, by her being like, it's not your decision, that is pro-choice.
Yeah, exactly. But then, I guess it could be swung the other way because, like, he seemed like everyone thought he was the villain, but then he wasn't.
I got what you mean.
But
they really teed it up where he was the fucking killer.
Yeah.
That's why I was kind of confused when he, like, knowing, I was like, okay, I know he's not. Because, like, he destroyed the piano because he was training to be a concert pianist.
Yeah.
And
I liked that.
And then
a lot.
also just even the way, like, he appears in the basement. She's hiding from the killer, and he all of a sudden appears. And it's just like, Jess, where are you? Meanwhile, we could not find this man.
Yeah. And the way he, like, goes, he, like, creeps towards her, and he's like, why didn't you say anything, Jess?
Like, the way,
You
I'm
had me
like,
worried.
why would you do all that if it wasn't Peter?
Yeah. No, he's just a weird, I mean, he's like an incel, essentially.
Yeah, but I do think it kind of would have been more interesting to have it be Peter actually at the end, or like even keep this little mystery man in.
Really?
I just think it would have been, because then it's like, what were you doing?
Well, yeah. So apparently, did you see this? I keep saying, did you
I
see
don't know.
this? Executives at whatever, I don't know what the company was. I don't know. The movie execs were like, we want you to make it Chris, who was the other boyfriend.
Oh.
But the director and writer were very much like, no, we don't want that. We want it to keep it ambiguous.
Mm-hmm.
And also that would have been like massive plot holes because Chris is like apparently with the detectives for like a lot of the movie.
I do like that it was ambiguous.
Me
I think I'm
too.
just thinking maybe of like a different movie idea kind of,
Yeah.
where it's like interesting where this is killer, and then it's like, wait, is it the boyfriend or not? And then it's like, but I do like that it wasn't like Michael Myers, who had this, whole
Yeah.
asylum backstory. And it's just
Yeah.
like, it's just this guy. We know nothing about him.
I was a little disappointed because I always love, my favorite part of any horror movie is
Explanation?
the
Yeah.
explanation of like, why did someone do this? What is their backstory? And
Yeah.
especially like, just like the phone calls were so, there was so much,
The
there was
vocal
clearly-
talent on that
yeah.
man.
And there was clearly a story going
Yeah.
on that I wanted to know. And so it kind of felt like, like, did you watch Nope by
Yes.
Jordan Peele?
Yes.
That movie pissed me off.
Because it never explained.
Because it was so much like that seemed to have the potential
I
for
did
a really cool
really want
backstory.
explanations. Yeah.
So it kind of was unsatisfying. And so at first I felt unsatisfied. I still kind of do. I wish there was like a good sequel that actually explained things. But I think it paid off because I felt like the ending was so, the way it was
Creepy.
executed was so perfect. Of
Yeah.
like hearing him and then the phone call.
I also do like it because I feel like, and I don't know if this is their intention, but like this is how I view it, as like, I can definitely see a world in which they were like making a point about like, you don't usually know the backstory of killers when they're killing you.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, if it's like, it felt very real world in that sense of like, there's just a fucking guy in the house. Like, here's what you need to know. He's in the house and he's coming after you.
Yeah.
I liked that because I feel like now, like, I feel like the horror has totally shifted where it's like, it's all explanation.
But even like Psycho. Like, imagine Psycho just
Mhm.
ending with like, they got him. And like, that's it. And there
Yeah.
was no explanation of like
That's fair.
who Norman Bates is. Like, I feel like that would be so unsatisfying.
But I think it would still be scary though, because I don't know about you, I was spooked watching this.
Yeah.
I was scared.
My favorite part was the ending of just the like really long shot of Olivia Hussey sleeping, and then it like pans, and then it's the bedroom with the blood on the, and like that little like whatever that sound is
Yeah.
that really freaked me out.
There was a scene when I think her name is Phil is talking to Jess, and they're on the phone, like she's calling Peter, and she's like, where are you? And behind Phil you can see this like black shape. Did you notice this?
No.
Oh my god, I thought it was going insane because I was like, is this moving? It was like moving behind her, but it was so like amorphous, it didn't quite look like exactly like a body, but you could tell it was like a person, and it was like moving behind them and like moving closer, it looked like. And I was literally scared. It was the type of night where I was like, girl, thank god I can see every facet of my house.
Yeah.
Because it was the type of thing where I was like, somebody's
you
behind
watched
you.
it at night.
I did.
I watched it earlier today in the daylight.
I figured.
Yeah.
But like, it was
Oh
scary
my god,
at
I
night.
couldn't have done that.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I texted you. I was like, girl, I'm scared.
Yeah, and see, this is why I think this movie is so much better than Halloween. Not to keep shitting on Halloween, but like Halloween, like she has her cute little backstory. She's a babysitter, whatever. But I feel like this movie, like, every character had such a full life. And, like, you're so right. It was really story driven.
Yeah.
And that's what made it, like, like, I was so attached to Olivia Hussey. So then the ending was even more gut-wrenching.
Because the time also even between murders is, like, the first murder is, like, so soon.
Yeah.
And the second murder is, like, not till, like, halfway through.
Yeah.
I loved, actually, the police department in this.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like they were good addition.
Zac Efron. Bro.
Who?
That man looks like Zac Efron.
I see, like, where you could get that, but, like, not really.
Okay. Have you seen that photo of Zac Efron with plastic surgery?
Yeah.
That is that man.
I see that, like, the lip shape.
And the cheeks and just the...
I see where you're coming from. But don't know if... But yeah, I was saying, like, it's filmed like a drama. It's very human stories. Like, Margot Kidder's character, who previously had played Lois Lane in, like, the Superman with Christopher Reeves. Like, it didn't feel so produced. You know what I mean?
I really loved, going off of that, the suspense in this movie. Like, even just him trying to track the phone call, and, like, it would be different now, but because it was the 70s, like, seeing him actually, like, the phone operator
searching for it, and then to lead up to that point of it's coming from inside the house.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, in today's world, how do you create tension or conflict when every, like, iota of information is available basically for a fee? Because, like,
especially with, like,
you can figure out where a phone call is coming from. You can figure out whose phone number is calling you, and, like, where people live, and, like, everything is accessible.
Oh, I'm so glad I don't live in the suburbs. I just got chills, like, thinking about an attic.
I was just thinking, I was like, my sister has an attic in her house, and it's, like, in their bedroom.
That actually freaks me out.
It's like the door to it is in their bedroom.
Oh my god, no.
Isn't that so scary?
I
literally was like, Bella, I'm surprised you live with this over top of you, because, like, she's really scared of, like, horror stuff.
Yeah.
When we were younger, you could just say Paranormal Activity to her and she'd, like, leave the room.
Oh my god. I don't blame her. Like, I love watching scary movies, but if I lived in a house, I think I wouldn't. Like, the safety of being in an apartment.
It's really crazy how much safer I feel.
Yeah, like
the threat of murderers.
Have you seen Sinister?
I think I have, yeah.
Okay, I love that movie. It's one of my all-time favorite horror movies. I watched it. First off, it freaked me the fuck out in my apartment.
It's Ethan Hawke, right?
It's Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
And I usually am not, like, a paranormal, like, that doesn't scare me typically because I don't believe in that. This movie, Bagul, bro.
His name is Bagul?
Basically, it really freaked me out in my apartment. And then I visited my boyfriend's family in Virginia in his house. Oh my god.
Especially, like, old homes at Creek. I remember, like, my, like, not childhood home, but, like, second childhood home. Like, we were low-key convinced it was haunted just because, like, it was a newer home, so it shouldn't have had, like, a history or anything, but, like, the way it would settle in Creek, it was so scary. Like, you know, my sister and I would, like, sleep together every night because we were scared.
Yeah, that's really scary.
That's why it's, like, I like cozy houses, too, because, like, I like to be able to, like, see.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
I just,
yeah.
I can't imagine sleeping in a house alone. I've never done it before.
And I have to, like, I mean, I spoil scary movies for myself because I truly can't really watch a scary movie unless I know what's going to happen.
Did you do that?
I did.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like, as soon as the first scene when it's, like, the Claire gets, like, suffocated, I was like, I need to know exactly what happened so I won't be scared.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair.
Like, for instance, I also love the scene when, like, the house mother, like, goes up the stairs and you know Claire is up there, like, her dead body. And then you see the guys, like, holding, like, a grappling hook.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I
that
don't
was
know
crazy.
what ever that would be used for in an attic. But, like, you see him holding it and then you see her, like,
oh, that
Claire.
was...
And then you just see her, like, turn and notice it. And I'm like, wait, he's just gonna, like, stab her in the neck with this thing?
And he does.
Really does.
Bro.
The stupid cat. That cat ruined it.
Yeah, everyone was looking for that fucking cat.
It was
That's
like
insane.
upstairs with the dead body. And so it's like, that's why she was like, oh, there's a cat behind you.
Oh.
If they ever cause my death indirectly, I better be so pissed.
I'll be pissed on your behalf.
Thank you. Kill them.
I had a nightmare
Mistletoe's
last
little
night.
throat. She'd be so easy to kill, can I say? She weighs like 2 pounds.
I had a nightmare last night that I stabbed a bunch of people, and it felt really real. Like, I felt the resistance of the knife going into their bodies.
Oh my god.
They were trying to kill me. It was self-defense.
Wink,
I
wink.
was in a house, and these people were coming and hunting me down, and then so I stabbed
Whoa.
one guy, and then I sliced the other guy's neck. But it like I was really freaked out about it because I didn't want to do it, but I had to, and I could feel what it felt like.
Oh
It
my
was
god.
really
Dude,
gross.
dreams are crazy because like how is it able to access feelings we've never actually
I
felt?
know.
Like I literally had a dream. I mean, I gave birth.
Yeah.
I fully experienced childbirth and like
Did you feel pain in the dream?
yeah.
Oh.
I had a dream. This is gonna sound insane. I had a dream I was in the car with Princess Diana and she died, and I literally had a pain in my knee, I had a gash, and I must have like my thought is like maybe I had like a Charlie horse or something while I
Yeah.
was sleeping because it literally hurt so bad. Like the glass like went in my leg.
Oh my god.
That was a crazy dream because in the dream she knew she was gonna die.
Oh my god.
She was like, this is what's supposed to happen. And I was like, don't get in the car. But then I was in the car. It was
what
crazy.
the fuck? When did you have this dream?
This was like maybe a year ago. It's crazy. I was there when she died.
We're all connected.
It was really crazy.
That is really crazy.
Dreams are wild.
Dreams are wild.
And they say like follow your dreams. Don't follow your dreams, kids. Otherwise you'll be in the car with Princess Diana and giving birth.
Yeah, and yeah.
It was crazy.
it's
It was
crazy.
like the giving birth dream was terrifying. I was like, I'm never doing this.
But then you had a child.
No, I think it like cut out before like I
Oh.
experienced the child.
Okay, because I've had dreams where I've had babies.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about
I can imagine
this.
that being like powerful. Like,
No, I felt such a deep connection to this baby, and then I woke up and I was like, what
but
the
that's
fuck?
crazy that like your brain can like produce the hormone that's
Yeah.
released after a woman has given birth to make you have a connection with a phantom baby.
It's so weird.
It's so weird. That's why I'm like I you know that the thing that's a myth, it's like we use 10% of our brains.
Yeah.
I low-key believe it. Because like, what do you mean? Because like, scientists don't understand dreams.
Yeah.
So like, what do you mean?
I don't know.
You can have a
I
connection to
don't
a phantom baby.
know.
What do you mean? I was in the car with Princess Diana. Why would my brain do that to me?
No, it's really bizarre.
How is it just like really good at guessing?
I don't know. How could I have felt like what it feels like to stab someone?
That's what I'm saying. It must just be like our brains just must be so good at like filling in the gap or like, you know, taking in the information, you know, like what we've seen on TV, what you know of what a body feels like, and like mushing it all together
Yeah.
to spit out you stabbing somebody.
It's like that thing where people are like, you can feel like you can guess what it feels like to lick every object.
Yeah. I
Like-
just looked around the room. I was like,
Like everyone think of a rock. Now imagine
Well, I've
licking
licked a rock.
Okay. Imagine
have you not?
What's something you've never licked before?
Probably lots of stuff, but like I guess at the same time, but like I guess touch though, your tongue is another receptor of touch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I can imagine because of I've touched these things. I don't know if I'd never touched them before if I'd be able to know how it feels to lick it.
I just thought of licking a knife and that freaked me out. Anywho.
To the movie. No, but I really like this movie. What did you give it on Letterboxd?
I actually haven't rated it yet. I think in all of life I would give it an 8 out of 10, but
Mhm.
like I think for me the beginning was a little bit slow paced because
Mm.
it was just a lot of like build up, but
Yeah.
I think that like in the grand scheme of like all scary movies, like this is one of the best for sure.
Yeah.
But I still stand by my 8 out of 10. What about you?
I gave it 4.5 out of 5.
Okay, so a
9.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think also because like I truly had such a deep respect for like the filmmaking of it, and just like it kind of just like made me excited about like
Yeah.
making movies or something, where it's like, this is good, you know, this is an original idea, and like I love the way they shot it, and like it's spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's really good.
I
It's
did
a
really
really
like
good
it.
movie.
And yeah, I am really mad because also like Olivia Hussey, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
Also
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis, Nepo baby.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it did so well, honestly. Maybe she had her parents behind the
Oh,
scenes
you know what? That's so what it was.
pushing
Because
for
they were
it.
like, oh my God, Psycho's baby.
Yeah.
They're both scream queens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Olivia Hussey should be getting her supporting actress Oscar
Yeah.
instead of Jamie Lee Curtis
Yeah.
this year, or last year, or whatever.
Bro.
So,
Literally. Anywho,
anywho,
was there anything else you wanted to talk about before we moved on to our Mannequin Pixies of the week?
no, I just wanted to say I think you guys should watch this movie if you haven't, especially if you like
Yeah.
movies set in the 70s, especially if you like horror.
Yeah.
If you just like a good old scary time that's not about like, I don't know, ghosts. I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of horror now is about the paranormal.
Yeah. It's also, again, so cool to see a movie from the 70s that, like, really centers around women. And the director specifically was like, I didn't want any of these women to be sexualized or, like,
that's awesome.
nudity. And I'm like, that's crazy for the 70s. God bless.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I think it's an important movie in cinema's history.
definitely.
So, should give it a watch. The listeners are like, what's happening?
We're making sleigh faces. This is
Yeah.
what's happening. Okay, Mariah, what was your manic this week?
Okay, Layla, I talked to you about this a little bit earlier
Yeah.
today. I feel like I've just been having like a customer service week
Mhm.
because one of my survival jobs is in customer service. And it's just very like frustrating to a certain point when you get to a point where you're like, it is crazy that people don't see customer service people as human beings.
Yeah.
It is weird to be like working like a lot of your life in an environment where people literally just see you as a helping hand.
And also as if you somehow have like intrinsic knowledge of the entire company. Like as if you
Yeah.
started it and created all of its policies.
People are so fucking rude. Like, it's actually insane to me. I don't know if it's just where I work or if it's actually representative of like the entire world at large.
I would say it's probably the entire world at large.
People are so rude. Like, I just don't understand it. So that's been my manic. Anywho, Layla.
That's so frustrating, you know. I didn't have to deal with it as much as like receptionist because like I get like
Yeah.
one guest at a time.
Yeah.
But definitely people who would just be like, all right, you know, like I'm like, okay, relax.
Yeah.
Take a chill pill.
I've heard though, I don't know if this was your experience, that like, because Layla was a receptionist at a talent agency,
Mm-hmm.
like that the people who are actually really successful are pretty chill and like considerate. It's the people who like are on the rise to the top
Well,
who
not
are like
just-
assholes.
Sometimes I've noticed, I feel like I've met there were a lot of young people who were still very respectful. I think it's the people who are like clinging to relevancy. It's just like, you know, it's
weird.
I am very good at like reading people and like kind of in like, you know, I guess not their auras, you know, their energies of just being like, and I know exactly who you are instantly.
Yeah.
But like, for instance, I think about like Charlie Cox. So sweet.
Oh, he radiates good vibes.
You can just tell.
honestly.
He is so nice. Like, I actually went up to him and I was like, oh my God, like, I saw you in Betrayal and you were so good. And he was like, oh, that's so sweet. Like,
Oh,
thank you.
That's nice.
Oh, like, well, he like talked more about it, you know? And I was just
Yeah.
like, I'm glad, you know, he's very, I don't mean this, very touchable. You know, he's not untouchable.
Yeah. That's kind of fun.
I made a list of every celebrity I
Ooh.
met and like little notes on them.
Wait, I love that.
Maybe we'll go through it one day.
Yeah, that would be a fun little
gonna read
story time.
Every celebrity I've met.
Yeah. I've only met like one celebrity in my life.
Oh my God, Katie Holmes smells amazing.
I've met her daughter. she lived in the same building as one of my best friends.
Oh.
And there was like a playroom, like a communal playroom.
How little were you guys?
So it was like quite a big playroom with like a big it was like a very fancy apartment building.
Yeah.
So I was probably like 12 and she was like 6 maybe.
Oh.
But it what didn't feel weird that I was there because it was like it wasn't like blocks. It was like a literal like
a lounge.
jungle gym, like, you know what I'm talking about?
I have no clue what you're talking about because I didn't grow up in apartment buildings with playrooms in them.
Yeah, I don't know. So we were like hanging out, whatever, after school, and then Surrey Cruz comes in, whatever. I was trying to be polite, so I acted like I didn't know her. This is actually really funny. I was like, "Hi, I'm Mariah. Like, what's your name?" And she was like, "I'm Surrey." And then she literally asked if she could tie me up. She was like, "Can I tie you up and tie you to this like thing?"
What?
And I was like, "No." And she went, "Okay, toodaloo," and then ran away.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Anywho, yeah.
Now she's 18.
Yep. But wait, you were saying Katie Holmes is nice?
I just said she smells good.
Oh, that's good. I can also
like
see that
radiated.
for her.
So I was like, whoa.
That's
It was like
beautiful.
a cloud that followed her of good scents.
What was your manic?
Packages delivering on time.
Yeah.
I mean, normal manic stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I've been getting, I've been grinding. Yeah, but just like, dealing with shit where it's like a champagne bottle has to reach Iowa City by today. Should have reached it today, and it didn't. And so now I'm like all worried about this champagne bottle.
Yeah, and that's frustrating when you've done everything in your control to get things done that need to get done, and then the world says no, and then the people around you are probably not going to blame the world for it not going well.
No. And I'm really good at being like, even when it's not my fault, to my boss, I'm always just like, okay, heard. You know, I don't try to be like, but the other assistant said this and like blah blah. I'm like, she'll be like, next time, make sure you hold those times, and I'm like, I was not gonna say that though. Yeah, I'm just like, heard, copy. But this is something I will be like, not my fault.
Yeah, which I think is so fair to be like, there was a delay. I've asked for a refund.
What can I do? Pixie, I guess I was saying I had a call with a psychic.
Hell yeah.
And
very in theme.
Very in theme. Me and Olivia Hussey have a lot in common.
Ooh.
We're both so talented.
And you have gorgeous hair.
Gorgeous hair. No, she is that hair, man. That's just like
what is her
you
hair
can just tell
routine?
you can just tell you can tell there's no hair routine. You can just tell like her hair does that. Like I had a friend in middle school and her hair had that same kind of like very naturally straight silky quality, and I was like, oh my god, like what do you use? Because I have frizzy hair and I always have, and I was like, what do you use? What's the secret? And she was like, Pantene, and I was like, fuck you.
Oh my god.
So I can almost guarantee you she was doing nothing to that hair. It just was falling gorgeously and thick.
Good for her.
But anyway, and the psychic said, good things are ahead.
Yay!
Yeah, imagine the psychic had been like, be war.
Well, that's good.
Although the psychic did Olivia Hussey dirty with that, because she was like, you'll make a lot of money in Canada. And I don't know if she did, but I doubt it.
But we get to drink from the fruits of her labor.
What a
We get
weird
to suckle on.
Oh, hating the word choices. Despising them. But so my aunt is really into horoscope. Well, like my family's into horoscopes.
We talked about her last week.
On the podcast?
Yes.
We talked about my Aunt Yarmila?
Yeah.
In what context?
I don't remember, but I remember you saying Yarmila and me being like, hell yeah, Yarmila.
Oh my god. Shout out to Yarmila again. I'm just gonna keep bringing her back.
Yeah.
But so my family's really big into horoscopes, and so it's like she'll consult our birth charts, and so it kind of mimicked what she had already said about like June for me. So stars.
Yeah, I think maybe that's what you talked about. That she said that June there would be some good career
damn.
stuff. Because we were talking about your book.
Damn. Anyway,
so it just confirms.
So if nothing good happens in June, you will not see me again.
The cats will have gotten to her.
Literally, though.
What has been good in my life?
You bought Ed Sheeran tickets.
Yes. Okay, well,
You're going
here's
to
the
a concert
deal.
tomorrow.
On Sunday, yeah.
Oh, and Sunday.
Yeah.
It's a weird day for a
yes.
concert.
I would say that this isn't really work related.
I don't think it has to be work related.
Okay, that's good.
Like
That
my
gives you-
psychic call has nothing to do with work.
Well, it sort of did.
Well, a little bit. But she talked about my love life.
I mean, I feel like I've been trying to like post the short film shoot, really like take in every opportunity I can now with this extra free time to like have fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I have been like investing more of my money in like what just happened to my throat? More of my money into like I'm going to a concert on Sunday. I'm going to an Ed Sheeran concert at the Barclays Center on the 22nd. Like all this fun stuff where I'm excited about. So I'm trying to like always have something to look forward to. So that's good. I'm excited about that. I think I am a little stressed about money, I'm not gonna lie. But that's okay.
My psychic was like, yeah. She was like, let me see what's bad. And she was like, yeah, you need to watch out for your money. And I'm like, girl, I'm moving. I'm about to have 0.00 in my account.
Bro. I'm getting my lease renewal next week. Wish me luck. They said they're sending it out.
And you'll see how much if they've raised it.
I don't think there's no chance they're going to raise it so much that it's worth it to move.
Yeah.
It's moving.
Such a
As
bitch.
you know, costs thousands of dollars.
It did.
It's insane.
It did.
How do people do this?
Generational wealth.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Thank you so much.
And on that, so glad we ended on the happy note. Anyway, thank you for tuning in to our season premiere, Challengers.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning into this one. Watch Black Christmas. And next week, we're talking about the virgin suicides.
Oh, I'm actually very excited
Keeping
about
it
this one.
light on the channel.
I'm excited.
I'm also excited.
Yeah, you know what? We're really leaning into feminism this season.
Have you? We both have not seen it.
No.
I think it's fun when we both haven't seen it.
I think it is really fun.
It's much more to talk about than like me being like, I love Tucker Must Die.
Yeah. Anywho. We'll see you guys next week on
Manic Pixie Dream Women. Bye, Pixie Sticks.
Bye, Pixie Sticks.